Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. So today I thought that I would make a birth plan video or birth wishes video, birth preferences, whatever you want to call it. I found that while I was looking for things online and while I was researching, there wasn't too many things that I could find about birth plans in the UK. They were mostly like American or Canadian, which is great obviously, but things are different in the UK. Hospitals provide different things, all that sort of stuff. So I thought it would be good to just make something from the UK, see if it helps anyone out. If you have preferences that are similar to me, maybe like this can help you sort of figure out how to write a birth plan or just how to get some ideas together, get a bit more informed. Obviously I'll include any sort of websites or books or channels or anything that I've used. So yeah, welcome to the video. Okay, so first I thought I would go through kind of where I got the idea from, well, not really the idea, but why I decided to do an actual birth in the first place. So I don't know about all of you, but whenever I was growing up, you always saw birth as like this terrifying woman screaming, like writhing in bed in pain, and it just looked terrifying. So examples, if anyone's seen that scene in Knocked Up. Or Look Who's Talking.
Give me some drugs. No, you don't want drugs. Yes, I do. I'm gonna split in two.
Yeah, so those are the things that I kind of had to go off of, and I'm sure that everybody else did as well. So I thought I would do some research, and before we started thinking about having kids, I always wanted kids anyway, so I was always watching stuff like that, lots of family vlogs on YouTube. So I came across, if anyone's seen Lepke's Life, Sarah Therese, people like that, and I just love their approach on parenting. Sarah Therese is absolutely amazing. She's done hospital births and home births, all without painkillers, just kind of breathing through and coming up with these techniques, and I just thought, like, there has to be other women that do this. So I did a lot of YouTube searching, and I found so many beautiful videos of women just really being in the moment, really just focusing on their surges and their bodies and just letting everything like that take its course. And it was just such a beautiful thing to see, and I thought, I can definitely do this. Like, if I really put my mind to it and I really look into it, I know that I can do this, and that's what I want. I don't want a birth where there's loads of bright lights everywhere and there's a million people in the room trying to examine you and tell you what to do and push you. And I just think, you know, birth hasn't always been like that. Of course, it's a very primal thing, and I feel like these days everybody just sort of wants a quick fix and they just want things to be over with. Obviously I understand like that it is painful, but you feel that pain for a reason, and I just feel like natural birth would be the best approach for me, and the most common approach for me. I've never been a fan of having loads of drugs to try and like dull pain or anything like that. So yeah, I just thought that this would probably be the best one for me, and I thought that I would give it a go. So with that in mind, I came across the Positive Birthing Company, which is UK based. So I decided to buy their little package that they have. I can't remember what it's called. It's like the birthing package or something. You can also get like a postpartum one, which looks really helpful. And it's all just videos pretty much. So you go through everything at your own pace. You can take your time with it. It was really interesting to me actually, because she goes through a lot of the you know, it's not just all, everyone just thinks, oh, it's just all about like learning about breathing techniques and having all of this beautiful music on in the background, which obviously, you know, that is a big part of it and that does help, but she really goes through what your body is doing during labor. It goes through how your muscles work, what hormones you're releasing, like stuff to do with brain chemistry, all sorts of stuff that I'd never thought about in my whole life. And listening to her talk about this, it was just so fascinating and it made so much sense. Like the one thing that really stuck with me, and I mean, sorry about mentioning it now, but it was like, she did this example of if you're thinking about birthing positions, think about all the positions that you could do a poo in and you couldn't do a poo in, and every time you see somebody on TV, they're always lying on their backs with their legs in the air. So could you really do one like that? Probably not. If you could, it would be quite difficult. The optimum way to give birth is on like all fours, or squatting down, or kneeling down. Gravity will help you, and the baby won't be pushing down, pushing back onto you, so your contractions aren't going to feel as intense. You're not going to have all this pressure because everything is going down. I don't know if that really makes sense. I'm not good at explaining these types of things, but I would definitely recommend Positive Birthing Company. I've used, they give you like a little guided template, and they also give you a written template as well. So like if you're finding like trouble trying to, you know what you want but you kind of can't figure out how to word it, there's like a guided template there as well, which is brilliant. They have all the meditation music on there, and they have just the music, or they have someone talking with the music, which you can obviously just download to your phone. That's what I've done. So my plan is when I'm in labor, I'll be listening to that like within my headphones, and really trying to get into the zone with that. It really has everything that you need, and I'm so happy that I came across it, because then it really opened my eyes into looking into other things. For instance, my sister-in-law told me about this book. I've pretty much finished it. I've kind of flicked through and just kind of had a look at the bits that I thought were the most relevant, but it's an amazing book. It just talks about, well, everything. It has like little diagrams in there, like all sorts of stuff. How your uterus will be, like how you can open like your pelvis, how that all works, where the baby will be, going through your body in pregnancy. It's really all about just going with your body, and why now there's so many people just kind of like, everybody thinks that you need to have all of these painkillers and drugs to go into labor, and you don't. You I mean, obviously you can if you want to, but you don't need that. It's the most natural thing in the world, and that book is really good at explaining all of those things to you, where it came from, you know, how this new way of birth has been introduced as well, and why it's not good for women and it stresses women out. It shows you all the studies that they've done. It's amazing. It is a really good book. You can get it on Amazon, so there it is, and it's all about the active birth. So now I have this other one. I haven't read all of this yet, but it seems really interesting. So this one is the 4th trimester. Again, not a lot of people actually talk about that. So obviously, you know, you want to prepare yourself for labor, and I totally get that, because I do. And I feel a lot better being able to read as much as I can, watching other people talk about their active births and stuff. So that has really helped. But the 4th trimester is just as important. People don't seem to realize that, you know, your body has just went through a lot, and you need to take care of yourself, and you need to heal properly to be able to also be a good mother, a good parent. So that talks about how to heal your body and your emotions. Okay, so now I thought I would go through what I wrote down for my actual birth preferences or birth wishes, like I said. I know sometimes that people don't really write like a birth plan, just because you never know what could go wrong. Obviously this is just what I would like to happen in my ideal scenario. Like, I am low risk, so at the moment my midwife has every confidence that I should be able to do these things, but obviously sometimes things happen that you can't control, and that's fine. So these are just more for my ideal birth, but obviously, you know, I'm open to changes if something does happen. The baby is in distress, obviously. I'll do anything to make sure that she's okay. So that is obviously my number one priority. This is just kind of best case scenario. So I do have my birth plan here that I can read from, and I also made some notes on my phone as well, just because my brain is just like whoop. So it can just get a bit scattered sometimes. So maybe it's best to just kind of start out with the questions. So usually when you get a birth plan, if you have like a template for a birth plan, they will kind of give you some like little questions at the top, just so you can write underneath what your ideas are. So for the first one, it says birthplace of choice. So I would like to be in the hospital. I have seen obviously a lot of people do home births for their first baby, and it looks amazing and it looks beautiful, and maybe for like my second or third baby I would consider doing a home birth for sure. But I feel like because this is my first baby, that I don't want to, well, not put myself at risk, I guess, but I would feel comfortable being around a medical environment just in case. So hospital is definitely what we would like to go for first. I do want to have a water birth, preferably in like the little birthing centre that they have. With COVID happening, I haven't physically seen the birthing centre, but I've seen videos that they have of it online that they film for you, and pictures, and it looks brilliant. It has everything that I want, so that is good. So fingers crossed that I can actually use that. Everything seems like it'll be fine so far, but obviously somebody else could be in labour before me and want to be in there, so hopefully I can use it. But that is the ideal situation that I'd like to be in. And then you can also just say what you would prefer to have there and what you and your partner will be doing. So we've decided that we want to use hypnobirthing, obviously, so the midwives and doctors are aware that we'll be having music on. There'll be like dim lighting, candles, you know. I want everything to be as calm as possible, and while I'm really focusing, like if I have my headphones in and I'm having some surges, they can feel comfortable directing anything to my partner, because he knows what I want and I know that he can advocate for me, which is obviously amazing. I have like full trust in him, so I want them to kind of direct as much of that as possible towards him. And you know, if there's something that's, you know, really necessary to talk to me about, then fine, but I would kind of rather not break like the state that I'm in. I want to be quite focused, so you can say that as well. The next one is monitoring. So usually, from what I know, when they monitor you, they kind of put these little straps around your stomach so they can monitor the baby's heartbeat continuously and your contractions as well. And I don't really want that, just because within my birth I would like to be able to move. I don't want anything that's going to limit me in any way from moving around or getting into certain positions. So I've asked that I would rather them just use like a little Doppler where they can like listen into the baby's heartbeat every now and again, because then when I'm in the pool they can just put it on there and it's fine. Or, you know, if I'm wandering around they can do the same thing, rather than me being like physically attached to monitors and having to lie on my back, which I don't want. So I've popped that on there as well, because I do want to be quite active during the labour as well, either, you know, being in the positions that I want to be in, sort of like on all fours or squatting down, but then also being able to walk around the room, like walk through my surges or contractions or whatever word you would like to use. But obviously if it does become necessary and they are worried about the baby in any way, then of course I'm happy to be monitored in any way that they like. But unless there's an actual reason for it, I don't really see the point. A lot of the time it isn't necessary at all. The environment, so you can kind of express the kind of environment that you want, so then when you come in and you set everything up, or they can sort of set up for you sometimes. So I've said that it is really important for me to have dim lighting throughout labour. You know, I don't want any bright lights and feeling like I'm in some sort of like surgical or, you know, bright examination room. I don't really want that. I've said that I'll be using my headphones or playing the hypnobirthing music out loud as well. Also would like to use a birthing ball. I don't have one, but I know that the hospital that I'm going to does have them in the labour rooms, so I would like to use one of those and then get into the pool as soon as I can whenever my labour is established. I've always been intrigued by the idea of water birth since learning about it. So many people have said that the water just helps with your contractions. It can help also when you're crowning, because people say when you're crowning and the baby's head is coming out, that is a lot of the time the worst pain. And if you're in water, I don't know, people say that it just sort of soothes that, it helps that, everything is sort of like moisturized as well. So I would definitely like to have that as an option. That's that. And then pain relief, so they ask you, you know, what you would like to use for your pain relief. So I personally don't want anyone to offer me anything, so because I feel like even though I'll be in a state of like a meditative state, I guess you could say, and being quite calm, there probably are going to be moments where it is quite overwhelming, and if somebody is coming in and offering me painkillers, I'm going to be more likely to be thinking about that, and I don't like even want to think about it. So I just don't want anyone to offer them to me in the first place. I mean, I know that my partner, like, you know, he knows exactly what I want, so he wouldn't let me have them anyway, because he knows that I don't want them. But yeah, I just don't want people like even mentioning it, because then it's on your mind. So I don't want that to distract from anything. And I've said, like, you know, if anyone is in there, like a midwife, to just remind me of my desire of a natural birth and to just listen to my body, and just reassure me that my body can do this. That's what I need. I need, if people are talking to me, I need like positive reinforcement. I don't need someone being like, oh well, you can just have this if you want, or you could take this if you want. Like, I don't need that. I just need someone to remind me that, like, I'm strong and that I can do this. So those are the things that work more for me, when people are telling me that they know that I can do it. They know that I can do anything. So yeah, that's a really important one for me. Oh yeah, so then it goes into second stage. So the second stage is when I guess you're like officially in labor and you'll be ready to push. So I don't want to be coached to push. You know, you see it in the movies where people are like, push, push.
Doing great. Push again. Not yet. No, don't push. Pull.
Why don't you get
Pull.
some more ice chips?
No, Jim, stay.
Okay, really push this time, Pam.
Oh no, like I don't want that. I really don't want that at all. I would just like to follow my body's lead. I'd like to be able to bring you know, bring forth like my own energy. I don't need somebody telling me to push. I know to push. Like, and my body will let me know when I need to push, like, of course. So I don't need somebody telling me that, and I feel like that would just stress me out anyway. Somebody telling me like to push and just do one more push, and like no, no. I don't want that at all. I get it, like to some people it can be really encouraging, but to me, no, because I know what I'm like anyway, and if I'm focusing and I'm trying to do something and somebody's just like talking over and telling me what to do, like no, it's not going to work for me, and I'm just going to get frustrated. So I would just rather listen to my own body when it comes to that. And yeah, and then once the baby is out, so I would like to be able to bring the baby to my chest immediately after. So straight away, as soon as she's out, skin to skin. I think that's really important. It's really important for both mother and baby. It encourages them to go to the breast as well, and it's more comforting for them. It's good for bonding. So yeah, like straight away I would like her to be brought straight to my chest. And if for some reason my birth hasn't gone to plan, and I don't know, say I needed like a C-section or something like that, and she couldn't be brought to me straight away for some reason, then I would like her to have skin to skin with my partner, which I also feel is really important. It's really important for the dads to also have skin to skin with their baby. A lot of the time, of course, in the first stages of having your baby, the mum is usually the one doing a lot of the stuff, because if you're deciding to breastfeed, then it's all on you. So they're with you a lot. So any opportunity for the dads to have bonding time and to have skin to skin is really important to me anyway, and to my partner. So skin to skin with either of us straight away is very important. So I've made sure to list that. Also that either myself or my partner, depending on the situation that I'm in, would like to actually pull her out. I've seen a lot of people do this on their home birthing videos, and even in hospitals where they're doing like the birthing pool, where the baby's out and they pull the baby out. And I would really love for that to happen, but like, let's just say I'm not in the right state of mind for some reason, or I'm like really focused, then if I don't do it, I would love for my partner to be able to do that, to be able to pull her out. And then even after she's out, just for the environment to remain calm. You know, I don't want a lot of like fussing and a lot of people in there. That's also another thing that we discussed as well, and my midwife said that that would be completely fine, that we don't want loads of people in the room. We don't want people coming in and out all the time. We really want it to be, as much as possible, a personal experience, where it's just me and my partner kind of going through the motions together. I feel like we're very connected with that kind of thing, and we know what we would like, and it's a very sort of personal moment, I feel. So if we can just sort of do everything ourselves as much as possible, that would be great. And then obviously, you know, midwives or whomever coming in to check is fine, but just not like all the time, and not people hanging around again unless it's completely necessary. I just don't see the need. So I've put that in the plan as well, and my midwife is fully supportive of that. I'm actually quite lucky. I do have quite a nice midwife, and she's very understanding about what I want, so that's good. It says labour ward on here, but the hospital that I'm going to doesn't have a labour ward, and you get your own room anyway. So they have like their own private rooms. You're not like stuck or put onto a ward with like lots of other women or anything like that. So that's already quite nice as it is. Obviously And I've put private room, birth pool, low lighting, hushed voices, as is mentioned in the other parts of the plan anyway. Would like the room to be dimly lit, quiet, least people present in the room as possible, knock before entering. That's another thing for me. Some people might think that I'm being awkward, but I really don't think so. Just like, I don't want people just coming in and out of my room like constantly without knocking first, like just like rushing around. I feel like that is quite stressful anyway. It would be nice for them to knock and to just come in and be like, you know, like just to see how everything's going. So yeah, and obviously communication with my partner as much as possible, and just people present in the room that absolutely have to be there. Otherwise, there's just so many people in the room, and I feel like for me to fully get into the zone of where I need to be and to be comfortable, I just kind of want it to be me and my partner as much as possible. Yeah, so that's definitely a big one for me to be able to kind of cope with that, if that makes sense. Assisted delivery is also another one on here. I've said that if there's no other option, then I will accept assistance. I would rather wait longer than trying to rush the process unless the baby is in obvious distress and needs to be born. So yeah, I don't want anything that speeds up my contractions. I don't want any sort of like intervention in that way unless it's completely necessary. I know I've heard of some women only being given, this is in different parts of England and stuff I guess, but only being given like an hour or two, and then if they're not progressing the way that they want them to progress, then they try and intervene, and I don't really think that that's fair. Like, like an hour or two really to like try and do things your own way, and then they have to intervene. Like, no, I don't. That's just silly. Unless the baby is in distress in any kind of way and needs to come out immediately, I don't see why you can't just breathe through it and go through it your own way. People do not need to intervene in that unless there's obvious signs of distress or danger. So that's just my opinion, obviously, but from what I've read and what I've tried to, you know, inform myself on, it's not necessary unless there's some sort of danger. Third stage, so that's basically once the baby's been born, and like I said, I would like her onto my chest immediately after birth, or my partner's, whichever can happen. Delayed cord clamping, this isn't really a new thing. It's been done for a very long time. People just don't really talk about it that much. Surprisingly, I didn't think that my midwife would mention it when I was at appointments, but she actually did, so that was quite nice. So basically, if you leave the baby attached to the placenta until it stops pulsating, then they still get nutrients from the placenta. My midwife said to me that usually it will stop pulsating after about like 10-15 minutes or so. So that's kind of what I've said. If we can just delay that until then, and then my partner would also like to cut the cord as well, which I think is just really nice. I don't know, like I just remember seeing things about that when I was younger, and I just thought it was like such a sweet moment. So it's really nice that he actually wants to do that, so that's really nice. But there can also be complications sometimes with leaving the placenta in. So obviously after you've cut the cord and the baby isn't attached anymore, you do need to get the placenta out. So they offer you an injection which they put into your leg, which can give you a contraction to push the placenta out. You can actually wait if you want to and do this sort of like let your body do it on its own, there can be complications with that. Sometimes it can cause bleeding, hemorrhaging. Obviously not always. My midwife even said to me that a lot of the time after you've sort of like got up or walked around for like 5-10 minutes or so, the placenta will kind of, it will come out anyway. But in the event that it doesn't, or I start to bleed a lot and there's complications, then obviously I'll accept any sort of assistance to be able to get the placenta out. So that is fine. And I've also said that I don't mind getting a blood transfusion just in case, you know, something else happens as well. So it's just kind of being aware of those things. Obviously just do your research, have a look around. Everything is up to you at the end of the day. Obviously doctors and midwives are there to help and offer assistance and advice, but you are in charge at the end of it. You might not feel like you are, and you might not feel like you have the right to be, kind of feel like you have to listen to everybody else, but you know, you can be as in charge as you want and inform yourself as much as possible. And if you're anything like me, the more information that you have, the better that you feel. I don't like to go into situations and not know what could happen or what might go wrong, or like, I don't know, anything. Like, I like to be as informed as possible. So it's really good to do that, and I would advise anyone to do that no matter what. If you're having a natural birth, if you're having a cesarean, if you're having just anything, just inform yourself. And you'll probably feel a lot better by doing so. And then I've also, there's a section in here which I thought was quite nice actually. Unplanned cesarean. Obviously I don't plan to have one, but things could come about which would mean that I might have to have one. I didn't really like the idea of thinking about this, to be honest, but I mean, I would rather be more prepared and not go into it naively thinking that it might happen, might not happen, you know. So I thought it'd be good to just kind of look into that a bit more. So I've said that I would like to be awake for the cesarean. So I know sometimes they can offer to put you to sleep, and I don't want that. I've never, when I've been under anesthetic before, I didn't like it. It makes me too nervous. I would rather be awake and just obviously they use the like an epidural type thing to numb you from the waist down, obviously. So I'd rather be in that situation than be put to sleep. I would rather be awake. And still, I would like my baby to be brought to me as soon as she's out, brought to my chest or wherever they can put her. I want to see her straight away. So if that did happen for any reason, I would still like for her to be brought to me before she was like weighed or cleaned or anything like that. Any wires that I might be attached to, just make sure that they're kind of like out of the way so it doesn't prevent that from happening. You know, you still can ask for delayed cord clamping with a cesarean, but there can be more complications just because of the way that it's done. So usually a lot of the time they do take the placenta and everything out straight away and cut the cord immediately. And I mean, I'm assuming, because I am quite low risk, if I needed a cesarean it would be because the baby was in distress in some way, so I wouldn't really be too fussy about that at that point. So as long as she's out and she's happy and she's healthy at the end of the day, no matter what scenario, that's all I want. Obviously I would like my partner to be there. With COVID, the rules right now are you have like one birth partner. You can have a second birth partner, I think, but they're not really classed as a birth partner. It's just like if you needed anything that was outside of the hospital, they can bring it to you. So yeah, just the one birth partner, and obviously it'll be Bernardo, so he will be with me. And Oh yeah, so then if she has to go into a special care unit of any kind, then I want to be able to care for her as much as possible. Obviously, I do plan to breastfeed. That is what I really want to do, and I've made my midwife aware of that. So I've kind of tried to inform myself on that as much as possible, and bought things that can help me, you know, like those little hacker things you've probably seen, and whatnot. But I'll go through all of that when I do a kind of what I've bought for my baby kind of thing. So I think that's pretty much it, to be honest. And then it's like, it has like a thing at the bottom which is anything else, and I just mentioned about the breastfeeding. Really, I was just like, I plan to breastfeed, this is very important to me. I feel confident that I can, but in any case would still like the help and support to do so, which I have heard from people that have given birth in the hospital that I'm going to. They've said that they're amazing with that, and they have breastfeeding support there as it is, so they come and help you with that. So let me just check my notes actually and see if there's anything else. Oh yeah, so vitamin K injections for the baby. So they offer vitamin K just in case, so when the baby's born, they don't have the ability to like clot their blood if something were to happen. So say if you needed to have forceps or something like that, it can sometimes maybe cause like internal bleeding, or there could be internal bleeding in some other way from something else, and vitamin K injection will help them with that, just in case. So I've said that I'm happy with that, like I'm happy about her having that, obviously, just as like a precaution. Oh yeah, so I mean, I think this is within all hypnobirthing, but I did see it for the first time in the Positive Birthing Company package that I'm doing. But basically, say if something not goes wrong necessarily, I don't really like to use that word, but something doesn't quite go to plan and you feel like you need to make a decision, you should always use this little sort of method, so they call it BRAIN. So using BRAIN to make informed choices. So it's benefits, risks, alternatives, intuition, or nothing, and it just helps you make more informed choices by going through these little steps. And I thought that that was quite a nice thing actually, if you can try and remember those things. Again, I saw it on the Positive Birthing Company, so, but I'm pretty sure that a lot of natural, active birth, whatever you want to call it, I'm sure that they use those things as well. So I know this video is like pretty much just been me talking, which is probably kind of boring, but I hope that it has helped someone in some way, or gave people some ideas of what to look for. Well anyway, I hope that you enjoyed the video, and I hope that there was something here that helped you or entertained you in some way, even though I was just like rambling on, but you know. But yeah, I'll see you in the next video, and thanks for watching today, and thanks for coming along this journey with us. All right, bye guys. The first baby was feeling neglected.